Higher rounds are not great for a stream? Yeah, exactly. If I was just doing like a... If I was like a just talking streamer and I was just putting this on the background while I was talking, I mean, that'd be fine, but... we gotta make some progress here, you know? See, this is fun, because it's not splattering that many balloons, but it's still popping them, which is spreading the glue. And Sod, of course, gets a buff when they're stunned like that, so pretty cool. Pretty, pretty cool. So now I guess we just save up for all the tier 5s. We could probably get to the end of the game like this anyways, but... I mean, why else would we have the farm, you know? So, as you all know from YouTube, I always say it. Almost every stream I always say it. But I don't have a very eventful life, let's say. I mean, like, I'm not stuck in my room depressed. It's not like that. I just don't go out and do much. So I never really have any stories. But I'm feeling pretty excited today because today is my birthday, so I'm 24 today. I'm pretty excited about that, about getting older, you know. But also, I paid off the rest of one of my debts, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Very exciting. And I actually just before the stream started, I bought some hardware for my laptop, which I also was talking about before. I was talking about upgrading the laptop or just saving up for new parts for a completely new PC. And I was looking into it and I was noticing if I want to get a good beefy PC that I can keep for a couple of years and upgrade, it's going to run me a lot of money that I don't have. So I was like, you know what, let me either upgrade the parts that I have or, you know, just buy a whole new laptop entirely, which I don't necessarily want to do because that's also quite a bit of money. It's a bit cheaper, of course, but, you know, do I want to spend, I don't know, let's say roughly $2,000, $2,500, you know, in on a laptop, or do I want to go big and get the better PC that I can keep for longer and upgrade? You know what I mean? So it's like, what am I gonna do? Well, I landed upon an option because I realized my laptop can be somewhat upgraded. I can't change a lot of the stuff. Like the CPU in there is stuck in there. I can't change the CPU. The graphics card, I'm pretty sure I can't change. I can have like an external thing with USB and some kind of adapter or something, some weird tech stuff. Which sounds fine and all, I just don't have that many USB ports to spare. And something about external hardware kind of scares me because I don't want to bump into it or make it fall off the desk. So I was like, you know what, let me just stick with this GPU and I'll try to get it to its max performance if it's not already there, right? So I found out what I can do is upgrade the RAM in my laptop. I can increase the amount of RAM and I can get more storage so I have more space to record stuff. So if I wanted to record at a higher quality, as long as the CPU can handle it, then that's not an issue. Only real issue now is figuring out how all of that is going to affect the, the videos and the gameplay and all that. And I don't know. It's just kind of weird because, to be honest with you, my laptop is kind of running at its limit as long as I keep, streaming and rendering out videos. It's using up pretty much all of its available RAM already, and it's using what I've learned is called page filing, which is when it uses your hard drive as like emergency backup RAM. So it's been using like upwards of 20 gigabytes of my hard drive just to suffice as more RAM when I already have like 16 gigabytes of RAM. So I could, safely guess that it's going to about 30, maybe 40 gigs of RAM. So I said, you know what, let me just upgrade my current RAM. So I bought some sticks, and that'll allow the CPU to, send more computations and all that jargon and everything. The GPU, I found out, the some kind of NVIDIA thing that I have in there, RTX, it's not being used to 100%, not even close to 100%, so, and I just tested it. I ran a intensive Minecraft world with recording and high settings and all that stuff, and it wasn't even at half of my GPU usage, so I was like, you know what? Let me get some more RAM, let me get some more storage. So now, hopefully, the idea is the extra RAM will allow me to maximize my GPU usage, which would allow the videos to be smoother frame rate, higher quality maybe. I can bump it up maybe to 1440p. I'd have to test it out. And hopefully faster rendering time so I don't, have to spend too much time after stream doing all that stuff. So yeah, that'll happen soon. I think it's going to be like a week and a half, 2 weeks till all that gets here. I'm excited about it. But I think now that I have that stuff, the only thing I should be worried about inside my laptop is really if it makes too much noise, because I know this fan is already making enough noise as it is. So if it starts making too much noise, I'm going to have to get some kind of replacement fans or some way to either filter out the sound in my microphone, or I don't know, some other solution that I don't know about. And on top of that, if my CPU, which is like, if you don't know, you can think about the CPU like the brain of the computer. If the GPU is like, let's say the GPU is like your eyeballs, right? You're looking at something, you're taking in visual information, and you're saying, let's say you're at the beach, right? Say you're at the beach, and you're looking at the sunset, and you say, wow, I can see all the colors there. I have good vision. Maybe I need glasses, I don't know. But I can take in all the information there. Obviously, your eyes are not going to see lag unless you maybe have like brain damage, but your eyes are not going to lag like a computer would lag. So you see everything, everything's in high detail, everything's smooth, there's no frame rate, right? And that is because of your brain being able to process all of the visual information coming into it. So you can think about your GPU like your eyes. It's taking in information from the stream or from the game. And then the CPU, which is your brain of the computer, is processing that information and showing it to you on the screen. And if the CPU is overloaded, which mine usually is, then you'll see choppiness, you'll see frame rate drops, you'll see lag. that kind of stuff. So the idea with getting more RAM is that the GPU would be able to send more information in greater detail to the RAM, which is being used by the CPU. Which is great and all. I can do that. However, if my CPU can't even handle the operations in the first place, then the RAM's not going to make a difference. So what I'm hoping for is that once I get this RAM, I can install it, and my CPU will be able to handle everything that my GPU throws at it, basically. Because if it can't, then I'm going to have to buy a new computer, is the long and short of it. Which I'm terrified about. Just terrified about. Just, I don't know. Because obviously I want to start playing some new games eventually. But obviously, you know, if my CPU can't even handle the calculations that my GPU throws at it, then I can't do anything about that. Even with an infinite amount of RAM, you know? But I did not see that my CPU was, like, completely overloaded. I think I said it was. I think what I meant was my RAM is usually overloaded. My CPU, when I was running that Minecraft game, was doing alright. Of course, it was high intensity. You know, I'm running Minecraft and OBS and recording at the same time, but ideally that would be the situation at hand, right? So I don't feel too bad about it, about the CPU. Just gonna have to wait and see. And obviously by the time those parts become obsolete, I don't know, maybe I'll have saved enough money to get some new stuff anyways. So, not a horrible situation by any means. It's not all dire. Now, if I could, I would start investing in some cool stuff that you can actually see on stream. I've been stuck in my boring room for like a year now, and I haven't changed anything about it. You'd think I'd get some lights, I would get maybe some decoration, a poster or two, you know, something. I just haven't looked into it. So maybe I'll start doing that soon. Just maybe. RGB lights behind my desk. You can see I can't remember the term. I think a backlight. So you can see the light coming onto my face, but you can't see it behind me because it's, you know, over here in front of me. Isn't that what that's called? I know backlight sounds like it would be behind me, like facing my back, but I think a backlight means behind the camera or something like that. I don't know. I'm not too much into production and all that, so couldn't really tell you. Alright, this game's still looking good. I want to automate these farms so I don't have to worry about hovering over them every 5 seconds. Doing just fine, though. Oh, you know what? Totally forgot another good thing. It's been a lot of good stuff happening this weekend. I got some new strings for my guitar over there. I showed it off yesterday on my Silk Song stream, but my low E string broke, so I had to go get a new set of strings, and I ordered a bunch of them, and I replaced just the one string last night, so happy about that, very happy about that. Oh my goodness. Today's just been one of those days, you know? It's one of those days. Good day, don't get me wrong, it's just one of those days. Feels weird to kind of get done with stuff too. I talked about my debt. I was paying off my school. I can't remember if I've really talked about why I owe them money, but it's not for the typical tuition costs. Obviously, I do have some debt there that I need to get to eventually, but basically, when I was in school, I was kind of forcibly, not kicked out, but I wasn't expelled or anything, but I had to leave because I was essentially forced out of my housing situation. None of my roommates were bad or anything. We weren't messing the place up or anything. It's just something happened which caused something in the lease to change, so we had to figure it out with the landlord, and stuff this just didn't go through, so I had to move back home. And at that point in the school year, I think it was in the middle of like February, like it is now. It was like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. But I had to move back home, and I had some overdue fees that didn't go through. It was like late registration fees, or like unattended classes type of fees, you know, something like that. So they said, you have unpaid classes that you need to pay for, basically, like on top of your, you know, yearly tuition and housing costs and whatnot. But so I had to pay that off, and I've been paying it off over the past couple of years, very inconsistently, but I finally got it. So it feels a little weird to not have to do that anymore. It feels like I'm still under that, like, pressure, I guess. It's not like they were hounding me for my money, it's just, you know, having a chunk of your paycheck taken out every month is a little annoying. So it feels good to have that done, but just weird. It feels like I don't know what to do anymore. It's like when you feel like you need to be somewhere, but you don't. So you're like, what do I even do now? God, this village tears up the balloons. I didn't realize it could just shred mobs like that. I didn't even know it could shred not camo, but ceramic balloons like that. Good tower, good tower. Another cool thing about, not to go back to the nerd talk, but another cool thing I think about getting this stuff for my laptop. Again, obviously, anybody with a newer laptop or PC or whatever is gonna be like, "What are you talking about? This is just normal." But with more, processing power and all that stuff, there's a chance I could maybe start doing some music on stream. The only reason I really haven't done it, well, a couple of reasons really. One of the reasons is it's not a music channel, so I don't do music on this channel. So maybe I could start a music channel and just, do like a just chatting stream and I'm just playing some music. Something like that. Another reason I wouldn't do that is because for some reason playing music with a laptop, like plugging my guitars into my laptop and processing it through the laptop, for some reason is like way more intensive than you would think it would be. You would think you just plug it in and it works, but you have to run some kind of program so it actually processes the signal, which is like a chunk of RAM. And then if you want effects on your guitar, you have to put effects on it, which affects the RAM. Playing Spotify obviously runs into more RAM issues and DMCA issues if I don't like speed up the song or pitch shift it, right? So that's another issue. Then I obviously have to stream all that, which is like even more on the CPU and all that. So now that I, can process more, probably once I get the new stuff. Kind of talking like I already have it. I don't have it yet, but once I get that stuff and install it, hopefully I can maybe start writing or playing music on stream, but I haven't really thought about that too much. Or at least not recently. I entertained the idea for a bit, but again, it's just not the easiest thing to do. Really, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to play Borderlands without lagging. If I can get this new stuff and it runs, or it allows me to run Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and stream it with no issues on like medium settings, that'd be amazing. Honestly, even on low settings with no performance hitch, that'd be amazing. First time financing something too. For anybody watching that's like, what? You just bought all that stuff? That's like $1,500. No, I financed it, so I paid like 50 bucks. And yes, I do have to pay it every month, but it's not a huge bill. So. I hear my dad talking to somebody out there. Who's he talking to? Nosy. Let me be a cheese mosa real quick. Alright, maybe not. Maybe he's on the phone. Thought I heard his voice, but maybe not. Oh, wait. I kind of blacked out. Kind of forgot we had to get to around 100. Will this work for around 100? You know, maybe it will. Maybe if we had a different hero, it could make up a little bit of the slack. Sada's good and all, but kind of falls off at the higher rounds. If we would have kept like Sai or Churchill, maybe not Churchill, but if we would have kept like Sai, Corvus, somebody like that, that could have done some good work for us to, you know, make up for the slack. But see if this doesn't work for around 100. Because I'm thinking the glue gunner is obviously going to slow down any DDTs, which is going to be our main threat. And the crossbow master can actually pop DDTs by itself, so that's not an issue. Everything else seems to be pretty much gravy, it seems like, so as long as we can handle those DDTs, I think we'll be alright. And if we really need to, we can get a second crossbow master with monkey knowledge. We can't do that in chimps, but for now we can do that if we need to. Oh yeah, we're chilling. Chilling. Big chilling even. Sorry, that was kind of disgusting. Be done soon. Don't you worry your little heads about it. Nice. Never realized how majestic Sada looks at level 20. See that? Honestly, I didn't even realize that was her hair. I don't know why she has so much of it. She does not have that much hair in her OG portrait.